Yeah, see. I really don't think you can see your car. You're just full throttle because you're not letting up, I guess. I don't think you are.
180.
You're just holding down and going, right?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Anyway.
Here we go.
I just don't understand the lanes and all that. Like,
so I did not race sprint or slot cars briefly. I just Bloom Hobby Center used to have a track. I tried it out. So your lanes are all color coded. Then you plug in your controller. Like if you have the blue lane, you plug your controller into the blue.
Yeah.
And then what do I want to say?
Well, I mean, isn't there a strategic advantage on lanes?
Oh, that's what I was thinking that too. I don't know. Somebody told me that it all evens out.
It might, yeah. Maybe they have the same amount of turns, that type of thing.
But you would think, well, look at the outside, the very outside one. And then when you come around this corner here, you have the inside advantage then.
Mm-hmm.
The guy over there doesn't. So I think they're probably right. I don't know. Maybe you want the middle lane.
Richard's back.
Or 1, 2, 3. I'm sure somebody will pop in that's a slot car expert, but
kind of let us know what's going on.
I think that blue lane right there, it's so from the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's the sweet spot. But I don't know how you get assigned those colors. I don't know if it changes upon qualifying times or anything.
Well, Jason's in the chat already. He's kind of he looks like he might know a little something.
No, Jason Santos races slot cars.
Well, I'm guessing he knows a little bit.
Look at this guy. He has like a magnifying. He has like another set of eyes above his head.
Oh, there it is. You get 2 minutes on each lane.
Oh, then you switch.
97. That's your move up through 4, half the race.
2 minutes on each lane. So
the move. 3 out is on.
Interesting. No, we're not talking slots, but I stumbled on this when I was trying to pull up the J Concepts race that they had last weekend. I was like, slot cars, look at this.
Richard is 7th with 320.
My point was you can't even see him going around the track. So kind of you just hold it down, I think, and go.
Yeah, ask Jason, is it full?
You're not letting up into turns or anything. Maybe Jason raced at Trains and Lanes when they had a slot car track. All right.
Yeah, so maybe it adds up it probably adds up the track. It looks like it adds up track distance almost.
I mean, look how insane that is, dude. Yeah. Like I said, I tried it. It was not for me.
I can tell you right now, this ain't for me.
All right, we'll back off that one. But interesting. Yeah, that's what we were doing pre-show, watching slot cars.
But this is where everything started, though, right? I mean, that was first, right?
Was it first? Yeah, I guess so, right?
Slot cars was definitely one of the first things. I mean, that was where Ernie Privetti started. That was where Associated started. It was definitely one of the very first, I guess, remote operated thing that you could do.
Well, there you go. Don't knock it, Jason. That started RC.
It probably did.
Into the end of the stretch there. That was
we got to definitely turn that down.
Hitting the wall.
What's that?
Oh, man. So
you got to turn that down.
There we go. Is that better?
A lot better. So, yeah, that was our INS 14, the Spring Indoor Nationals at RC1 in Michigan last weekend. That was
Gotcha.
coming off the heels of the Dirt Nitro Challenge.
Okay, Jason Santos is saying he raced the Keystone USRA series in 91, 91, 92, 93, and 94.
It's like all the best years, right?
Wow.
Those are like fabulous years.
It was the 90s. Jeff Storm checking in. He's a fan. I don't know if he's saying he's a fan of slot cars or the show.
Could be all the above.
It could be, yeah.
Well, what actually happened here is the race you're watching there in the background.
Yeah, I just it's halfway. I don't know where I started it from, but is what it is.
Well, this was the end of two-wheel drive here. We had a Brock Champlin was about to sew up the overall win, and Aiden Horn came over that triple jump, and he made a mistake and jumped into Brock's lane and just took out the whole left side of Brock's car.
Wait, in this race?
Yeah.
How do I find that? Is it near the end?
Yeah, you just got to scroll back a little bit. It's 2 laps to go. Brock's leading. He's about to wrap up the overall win. And you might have to go back. Let's see. Don't go too far.
It's hard on Facebook or on YouTube to.
Yeah, so this is Brock in the lead here.
Okay.
He's got a good main going. He's about to wrap up the overall in the two-wheel mod division. And he's having a good weekend.
There's nobody around him. Oh, yikes.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to make bobbles and mistakes. I mean, a lot of breakage at this race. You can see the whole track is surrounded by 3 concrete walls. So, and you have a short stretch coming on the straightaway. Oh, there's Brock making a little mistake over the triple, but he recovers. So yeah, you can see coming on the straightaway, it's a concrete block wall on the backside, concrete block wall there. So 3 sides of the track surrounded by concrete walls, and then this tough triple that you got to get right. And there was a lot of broken parts at this race over the weekend. And there's going to be some more in this main here in a little bit. But so yeah, this is Chase Lemieux was running extremely well at this race. And he actually ends up winning the overall here because of the situation with Brock. But you can see the race was going well here, even for both of them. So Brock's in the lead.
Chase right behind him.
Chase is right behind him in the red car. So we got Schumacher out front, X-Ray in second. And at some point here in this main, Chase actually breaks. If this is the third main, like I think you rewound to the proper spot here, I think something happens with Chase and he breaks. Let's see if we can see if that happens. Brock was your TQ in this class. Oh, there's a car that just got hit. So Brock gets a little bit bigger of a lead. There's Chase Bicycles.
Mitchell was racing slot cars yesterday.
So Chase looks like he made another mistake there. Tom Rindernick picking up a spot here, it looks like. Dakota's out there racing. Aiden Horn is out there racing. This is a really competitive INS event. Cole Tollard out there. So we're trying to get to the finish here. But there's Brock in the lead. That's Tom Rindernick with the all-white car. So right there, Aiden just came across the track.
Yeah.
And you can see he jumped that triple onto the wrong lane, and he took Brock, the whole left side of his car out. So Brock's right there trying to drive with just his right side of his car.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
Tom goes by to take the win. And then that's when we kind of got to the interview portion where Tom just looks like he doesn't know what the heck's going on, because I don't know that he did. Everything's happening so fast. You just don't know. You just don't know what's going on. I mean, when you're out there in your full concentration on your own car and everything that's going on around it, you really just don't know.
Corey Jordan checking in. Look who's back on the mic.
There he is. Left tire salute.
We took a winter break. We're back for spring.
So here's Tom. He comes off the driver's stand. He's just about as confused as anybody. And Chase Lemieux won the overall with a first and a second place. Brock had a first and a second, but Chase's was slightly faster.
It's like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, everyone's just really confused. They didn't even know, if you're in the race, you're definitely confused as to what happened. And it took a while to get it sorted out, but everyone's like, oh, okay, I get it. Hey, Tom.
It's like that Office meme where the other shaking his head. He's like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah. Yeah, because he won the last main, and I think he finished on the podium overall, but he won that last main, and he's just like, yeah, they're looking at the monitor right now. Yeah, he's looking at the monitor like, what's going on here?
I just walked away from that. RC Kevin, what's up, man?
What's up, Kevin? Kevin was there. He was there kind of shooting some test photography. He was racing himself. So we had a big turnout there. We had about 300 entries, right at 300, I believe. I was actually scheduled to go, but I got sick after the Dirt Nitro Challenge. So we just sent Tyler up to the race. And so overall, it's a good
the Dirt Nitro Challenge flew.
Yeah.
Jeff Storm saying he wish he was there. I thought you were going to that, Jeff.
He's going to the one at his track, which is in Iowa.
Okay.
Actually, in Muscatine, Iowa.
When's that?
July, I think. So here's Chase kind of getting this is basically a winner's interview now because he won.
Jeff's saying June, so you might want to.
I thought saying July.
Jeff is jacked up for that one. Alex Sturgeon's got a question for you, Jason, here. A little tech question. Jason, I'm working on my RC10 and I'm putting the metal bell cranks on. Does the included spacer go in between the bearings or on top or bottom?
Goes on the bottom.
There you go.
So the basically it's a nut that goes down from the top. Then there's the shoulder spacer on the bottom, and it goes against the nose plate.
Answering your tech questions here on the Radio Impound Podcast, episode 260.
Like metal. Someone's looking at the camera, so like I don't know what happened.
Yeah, let's just interview whoever. We don't know who won. We don't know what's going on. How'd that happen?
The wildest thing. You know what? That's how some of these races end sometimes. I mean, we've had a few of these over the course of the years where you're just like, I cannot believe that just happened. And sometimes there's things that you just don't think will happen, but somehow they just do. The timing has to be just right. And, it's just like, we're looking at the section where it all happened here. Let me get my mouse working again. But yeah, you're jumping that triple one direction, and then Brock's coming in. There's Aiden coming across the tabletop right there, head first, right into Brock.
Wow.
The funny part is, according to Aiden, his car never broke. It was just Brock's that broke. Look at it. He's trying to drive it with 3 wheels.
Unreal.
Actually, not doing too bad. I think he could beat you in Kirby.
Oh, wow. Definitely me. Rick is saying freak racing incident unless you're in a C main.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see this stuff very often, but it happens in tracks like this where you run these lanes right next to each other and you have a big jump. You can see, and you never really know. I mean, look at Aiden. There's Aiden's car jumping, and I mean, he jumped completely in the other lane. He landed on the other tabletop.
Dude, that is nuts, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Brock had to be like, what the hell?
Yeah, so
Riley's saying what was funny is nobody knew Tom won the last heat.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that in all their expressions, like, why are they interviewing me? And Tom's like, yeah, they're like, yeah, you won it. And then not really the same, but kind of the same for Chase Lemieux, because he ended up winning the overall.
Jeff saying he could beat me. Probably. I'll be lucky if I keep my car straight. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody with 3 wheels is beating too many people, but
just Gotti and Jeff.
Of course that. Yeah. Well, no, Gotti, Kirby.
Kirby could. He's a good racer, especially off road.
Especially off road.
That's what he specializes in, off road and oval and off road. He's a hybrid, multi-talented, on road racing, whatever, didn't matter.
And Jeff.
Yeah, and Jeff, especially you, Jeff.
Especially.
Can't wait to see those results from June. All the pressure's on Jeff Storm.
Yeah, Riley Filbert commenting here. He was one of the guys down there in the bottom, high-fiving these guys after they won. He was at this race also.
Insane.
Yeah, this is a pretty new facility within the last, 3-4 years, I guess. RC1 in Michigan. I think they call it Macomb Township. Yeah, I saw Jeff at the race when we were in Muscatine last year. I'm looking forward to going back there. I should be going there. The guys are saying it's in June. I thought it was July, but maybe the one at the Plex is Hobbyplex is July. Maybe that's what I was thinking. Because this year we've changed the series, and instead of having 9 different events, we got a total of 5 now.
Wow.
And
cut it back.
Yeah, well, we kind of combined the series.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah, we did is we just combined, so we have a couple dirt races, a couple carpet races, and then we can kind of move the finals around depending on, just year to year, or every 2 years, we like to keep the finals in one location for 2 years, and then gives us the option to run it somewhere else too.
Rick is saying, wish we could host one of these. We have a great track, but our facility doesn't have the amenities to support a real national.
Yeah, I mean,
a couple job Johnnies.
Yeah, I mean, this is, that's part of it, right? You got to have the facility, enough pit spots. I mean, really, what we ran out of room for at this event was pit spots. That was the limit of entries, was how many pits they could have.
Mm.
And recently, there was somebody somewhere else recently where there was the same. Oh, Trackside kind of has the same thing. When we did our first race at Trackside, they only have so many pits, and that's pretty much the end of the entries you can take.
Oh, okay. You can't park outside?
We can't pit outside because it's like the winter.
No, RVs and stuff. Everybody's got RVs now.
No, there's not really a lot of room for RVs out there either, unless you wanted to park in like the Target parking lot or something, which you probably could do, honestly.
Take over Target's lot.
You just have to kind of keep an eye on when your race was up. And
what you could do on Live RC, right?
Yeah, they did have all that information available. You could probably pit somewhere else.
Rick's saying we have the space, just not the power that would be required, and our bathrooms are in a rundown park shelter. That's good enough.
You should have seen the bathroom that there was for the Worlds. We had the Worlds in Argentina.
What was it like?
It was horrible. It was actually a permanent restroom. Like, it wasn't like a temporary one. It was permanent. But we went there for the warm-up race and we went back for the Worlds, and it was never any different. It never looked like it was ever serviced it was pretty bad considering you had the Worlds.
Right.
So, it's almost like one of those where it's like, you got to have your buddy on watch out for you because none of the doors were nothing,
Yeah, you think they would, before they give the track the race, that you would have to have at least doors that can lock in the restroom.
They almost got the Worlds again.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, we obviously have a couple big topics to talk about here. We got Bartel from New Jersey asking about any DNC talk, which we can. Because that was a race just a couple weeks ago. But yeah, briefly, the Worlds was going to be held in Brazil this year in September, and apparently they didn't get some construction permitting squared away. And I think, IFMAR kind of deemed that it wasn't going to happen, and they got canceled in Brazil. And according to the rules, they were, I guess the IFMAR rules, they have something that states that, that block, that governing block of RC Farmar there could present a few more tracks for consideration, which I think 3 or 4 did. One of them was the Argentina track, which we were at in 2012. I believe a track in Mexico put in that they would be a consideration. Where was the other one? It's like a name you hear. Bolivia. That was another location that was being proposed. So maybe it was just 3.
So who got it?
Well, so those were the 3 that were proposed. And then I guess IFMAR decided that they didn't want to accept any of those backup track locations in the Farmar block. And according to the rules, apparently, it goes back to the previous block that held it, which was, it's going back to Spain, the same place we had the 2022 Worlds.
Oh, wow.
So we're going back to Redovan this year. In essentially 5 months, there's going to be another Worlds at Redovan. To be completely, honest or fair, it's like they tried to have the Worlds in Brazil in 2020. It didn't work out because of COVID and everything else. So what they did is they just had they had it in Spain in 2022. And then they tried to have it again in Brazil in 2024 this year, which obviously didn't work out again. So it's just kind of like, I mean, are we just going to keep doing this? Like, it's like it's almost like you're just playing the one step forward, one step back game. We're not moving on.
Yeah.
So, honestly, I'm like happy that it's going to be in Spain. I mean, it changes everything. It really changes.
Well, did somebody? Because I thought it was either you or someone else that told me it was in Bolivia.
No, that was a track that they were considering
Oh, okay.
as a replacement to Brazil.
Yeah. Right. But I thought that was finalized. Like, oh, it's just
No.
going over to Bolivia.
No,
Yeah,
no.
Spain, and you like Spain, so you
Yeah,
like the
we
track
have,
there, so that's great.
yeah, I've been there twice now. Went to the warm up for the 1 in 22, then went back to the 1 in 22, and we had a good experience. And I mean, you would think we would know a little bit more going back this time than we did last time. We were a little bit, we didn't have all the knowledge we needed. We adjusted right at the end, didn't have quite everything we needed, but we were pretty competitive. Was kind of Ungaro's event from start to finish. He was the TQ. He set the fastest time, I believe, in the semi. He led from the pole position and won the 60-minute final there. So it was kind of his show there in 22. David Ronefalk got second, and Juan Carlos got third, and Mayfield got fourth. Dakota was up in it for quite a while, and then he blew a glow plug like right at the end. But Dakota was really fast in that main event. Like he was definitely coming on strong. So maybe going back, maybe we can be a little more prepared this time around, know a little bit more what to expect. And I think that it's going to change our team there dramatically, because there was a lot of racers concerned about going to Brazil. And I think for the most part, I think most drivers are all going to go to Spain. Really, no questions asked. Everyone that I've talked to about it, they're pretty excited about it. So,
Yeah, safer location.
yeah, that, and it just, you've been there and you kind of have like an experience with it, and the track, the locations, you kind of know where you'd like to go now. It's like, all right, well, am I going to stay at the same, Allison and I were talking about today, are we just going to stay at the same Airbnb we did last time? Or, because it was really cool. It was a good trip. So hopefully we can.
Rick is asking, are they going to hold a warm up then?
I don't know. I'm not sure that they are. I would have to guess they will probably do something, but I would say a lot of people will not go because they've been before. I hope that they don't. I would rather just them build a whole new track layout and just put all the energy and emphasis on building the track for the race, and let us all just sit down and see what happens. So I like the idea. I think anybody that's qualified, I think they should consider going, because I thought that it was a great track for it. And I think everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm not qualified, so skip that. A skills world. Oh, Nick DeVito. Yep, we're back, Nick. Winter break.
It's a quarterly thing.
Yeah, it is. Yep. Oh, look at that. The Starbucks cherry or a very berry refresher.
No, they don't have that one anymore. This is the mango dragon fruit now.
What? They got rid of that?
Oh yeah, a couple years ago.
No, I thought. What did I bring down to you at LCRC?
It's this one.
Oh, God, time flies. A
It does.
couple years ago.
Yeah, it was a couple years ago.
Wow. All right.
So they want to talk a little Dirt Nitro Challenge. Yeah, that was just a couple weeks ago. Normally, I'd say one of the most prestigious race. It's probably the most prestigious race besides the Worlds. I would say. I would say that. I just think it's a good event. So, what's kind of going on recently at that event and Silver State is the pro drivers have been running some e-truggy. So now they're doing 4 classes. The pros are doing 4 classes.
Wow.
I think it's pretty cool because the e-truggy class is really, it is something pretty fun. I think for most people, they like it. The electrical batteries and everything is so really good today that it makes that class really, I think, a good one. So, yeah, so I think that the idea of doing the 4 classes for most, I don't think Dakota ran 4, but most of the other pros ran 4. We have Juan Carlos Canas. He came over from Spain. He's our newest J Concepts pro driver this year. And he ran 4 classes. They barely run truggy in Europe, and he brought a nitro truggy and e-truggy. So he was prepared to run both. And he did a good job at the race.
The e-truggy main was brutal.
He ended up winning. He ended up winning the e-buggy main as a 10-minute main. So Juan won that one. Mayfield actually won the one Rick's talking about. He won the 10-minute truggy A main. And the Nitro Truggy main was another classic with Mayfield and Dakota. Mayfield and Dakota just have another amazing truggy race. It seems like they've had quite a few of those. And then in the Nitro Buggy class, Elliott Boots TQ'd it, which is interesting because, there's only 3 rounds of qualifying there. And he actually never TQ'd a round of qualifying, but he TQ'd the overall because he had 2 thirds and a second. So that was 5 points TQ'd the buggy class.
What?
Yeah. So very odd. Yeah, you very rarely see a TQ come that way where they don't TQ at least 1 round. So that was kind of rare, but he definitely earned it in the main. Had maybe a flawless drive. I mean, I didn't watch him the entire 45 minutes, but I don't think he made a mistake in 45 minutes, and that's what gets the job done. David Ronenfalk got second, and then Dakota got third. And interestingly enough, Dakota actually had to bump up from the B main.
Wow.
They had to bump up from the B main, or he did. And then he got third in the main and really was in contention. He was very close most of that main to, the second and the leader. Just made a couple little extra mistakes at the end that took him out of a battle for at least getting second. I don't know that he would have won. But yeah, it was a good Nitro challenge. Obviously for us, I would have preferred for us to have been nice to win the buggy class. Elliott doesn't race for us. David doesn't race for us. Obviously Dakota does. So, we were kind of leaning on our guys. You always kind of have this hope in the back of your mind that Mayfield can pull out another one. But he didn't get a good start to the main, and it just didn't go anywhere for him. So, but he did win. He still won 2 classes. He won the Truggy class in Nitro, and he won the E1 E-Truggy. So, but yeah, the buggy main, he just didn't have it there at the beginning, and then he had his top end needle came loose on his engine, and the tune was just going in and out while he was running. So that's why he got 10th. But maybe he could have got up there inside the top 5 had his engine top end needle didn't come loose, but just didn't get the start. I mean, he was going to have a really good start to battle with Elliott and David and Dakota the way they were going. You got the main here, and at night, track's watered, has the water on it, looks beautiful.
Yeah, that's cool.
This layout.
This is where the mains were like 3 a.m. my time. Midnight your time.
This was probably 9 o'clock, I would say.
There. So, because I remember texting you, and you're like, "Oh, probably like midnight." Oh no, you said midnight my time.
Yeah, so it was probably midnight your time. Yeah.
I was out, getting older, dude. What tires were the guys running there?
We started on they had a couple races there. They had a couple races there. Well, at least one race this year called the TNR race, and they were really settling on the new tire, the Dirt Bites and blue compound. But by the time we ran the Nitro Challenge here, everybody was back on reflexes for the main in green compound, and then you can see that's the other view from the other side of the track. But this is 2 minutes into the race. So, but yeah, reflexes in green. Dakota actually ran the Dirt Bite in the Truggy class. So Mayfield won with the green reflexes. Dakota got second with the
that's a cool shot.
The green Dirt Bites. So Dakota was one of the ones running the new tire, but that was a Truggy. And buggy, we were just some guys did some qualifying with recons. A lot of drivers were showing confidence in the recon, but come the main, a lot of them went to reflexes. That's what Spencer's got on the car here in camera. He's right here behind Ron Falk and on camera right now. But we kind of went. We kind of just went back to the, what do they call it? You go back to the well. What do they call it when you go back to something that's a favorite? Or
go back to the well.
Yeah, and that's what we did. Is we went back to what Mayfield had won so many of these events on, and it worked for the most part. I think that we'll probably have to have a couple tricks up our sleeve for next year in this condition. I think that we probably we didn't quite have the right thing here in the main. We'll probably make a couple little changes, but Dakota he ended up 3rd overall. He was running good with the new Falcon tire in green, but we're going to do a couple little things before next year and try to get us back on top of every class. You kind of get greedy in this. We won 3 of the 4 pro classes, but you want to win them all, especially the buggy class.
Matt's saying we're back. He's glad we're back, and he was beginning to think someone was in jail. Yeah, that would that's not a that's a fair statement. That could be a possibility for me. So
maybe he's talking about like just Facebook jail.
No, he means actual jail.
Oh,
that's a possibility, especially coming months here. I did my own taxes, so that could be a problem.
IRS.
If that happens, it's been real, guys. Yeah. What is the Matt's asking? What is the update on Gotti's? Oh yeah, my build. I'm not building it, but I'm not building it, but it's right here, dude. It's right here. There it is.
Joel, baby.
Thanks to Jason Rona. Yeah, build it. I'm not building this thing. God, not even breaking the seal. In fact, I bought a instruction manual to it off eBay just so I can look through it without opening this.
It's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah. Jeff, you would be correct. I have been playing a lot of Call of Duty, and I wanted to get this podcast in before season 3 starts on April 3rd. So,
Oh no.
yeah, Jason's in. Yeah. So, Jason, you can take a break after this podcast. Yeah. Jeff's saying he would love to go to this DNC race. It's too intense for him now.
I mean, but there's classes for everybody, so it's definitely not that intense. There's a class for everybody.
Yeah, the class, the one that's all the way down at the bottom.
Hey, you know
There's a
what?
class for everybody, Jeff.
Here's Dakota on camera right now.
I mean, how can you see these guys? I can't even tell who's on there. I guess you watch them all the time. Yeah, Matt's saying that Joel Johnson Ultima has got his retirement destiny plan. Seal not broken. Absolutely. Retirement. I ain't gonna make it that far, bro. Jeff, BattleNet, send it. Let's game. Yeah.
What's BattleNet?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not involved in that PC stuff. I'll 1v1 you, Jeff, and destroy you. I saw you play on Twitch. Jeff streams on Twitch.
It's like you guys talk a whole nother language when it comes to video games. Got the camera on Elliott Boots here showing us the way around around the track. I mean, you can see he's not really doing anything. I told somebody before, I said it looked like Elliott studied Mayfield tapes on how to win this race and basically, kind of replicated it. And he did. Elliott was really, I mean, we talked about Argentina earlier, the 2012 Worlds. And Elliott TQ'd that event with some of the most amazing driving you'd ever seen in your life there in Argentina. And he didn't even make the main because he broke in the semifinal. Robert Battle ended up winning that Worlds, but Elliott was very good at that race. And definitely something to watch if you ever are bored going back on YouTube or live RC videos. Watch that 2012 videos of Elliott Boots running in Argentina with his Kyosho car. That was definitely something. But this is him here with his S-Works car. And I mean, this is a big win for Elliott. He hasn't won as much in Europe last couple years, and came over here to the U.S. and I mean, he just looked like he had it all together.
Corey's asking, what's the update on the Gotti Jason Nitro buggy? What's the update on Gotti Nitro? Oh, I think you were supposed to build me a Nitro buggy, Jason. That's what it was.
It definitely wasn't.
I'm trying to get Jason to fly me out to Idaho so I can watch the Nationals. Don't want to race it.
We got Daniel asking us a question here.
2024 Florida Carpet Championships, November 13th through the 17th. Any early predictions on the modified winner, Jason?
I mean, at this point, it's definitely hard to bet against Orlowski. He seems to be kind of coming into his own in terms of the time period in your racing career where the wins come a little easier. I'd say to Elliott, we're watching Elliott Boots here. He's in the part of his career where, I think the wins start to come a little more difficult, and you have to start getting your car's got to be better. Your driving has to be more deliberate in what you're doing. You're not just relying on this crazy driving ability to get around. It all has to come a little more into focus as you get a little older in this game. And this is, Elliott showing you that you can do that. But that's where, right now, I'll just call Michael Orlowski. That's kind of where he is right now. He's running on road. He's running off road. He's ran some 8 scale. He's kind of, I'm not going to say the new Bruno, but he's definitely running all the classes that Bruno typically was known to be so good with. And I think it's hard to bet against him right now. He kind of has, he's kind of in the prime of his racing career. So I think, and then of course, if we get Bruno back, Bruno, I believe won the 4-wheel drive class last year and finished second in 2-wheel. They had a kind of a tiebreaker that we used there at the Florida Carpet Champs, where they went to who did the fastest lap time in like a lap off situation. You would have liked that, Gotti.
Yeah, lap off, like a 1v1.
It was exactly like that, yeah. And that's how they determine the overall winner. And but yeah, I just kind of see, those guys were kind of I think the top 2 racers at that particular event last year. The year before that, I think Dakota was the stronger racer. In 2022, I guess it would have been. Dakota was the faster racer there, but Bruno and Orlowski kind of came in and did their thing last year, and I kind of see it being somewhat similar this year, although I got a feeling, if we get like we get Spencer a little more dialed in to carpet. I think he's always a threat for something like that. I think if you have the kid from Denmark that's just won the big MKGP, Marcus Carup, if we could get him over to run the event, I think he would be in contention for something like that, at least one of the wins. So, yeah, we're kind of getting into a new generation again of racers. We kind of have the veterans now, the Mayfields, and then you could almost say that Dakota, although he's still quite a bit younger than Mayfield, he's still a kind of a veteran. I mean, he's has so many laps over the years. And I think he announced 40. Daniel, if he's still on, he can confirm, but I believe Dakota at the Florida Carpet Championships announced he was a 40-time Roar National Champion.
Good God. 40.
I think it was 40. I was thinking it was 30. And then he announced it was 40. And I was like, holy cow.
Wow.
Which is more than anybody. That's more than anybody's ever won. That's more than Joel. That's more than Kinwald.
What?
Oh yeah, more than Cal.
Well, no, yeah, they race like constantly. There's like 20 nationals a year. Can't count.
That's not necessarily true.
Back
when Joel was running, technically Joel could have ran 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, truck,
right,
12 scale, 10 scale, and all the oval. It probably could be, not that he ran all those every year. I think sometimes he would skip the Roar, sometimes you skip off-road. I think he pretty much ran all the road course races. And I think he was always in road course and then kind of dabbled in off-road and dabbled in oval. But had he raced everything every year, I think he, as it is, that's how he encompassed, I guess, 30 Roar titles, but
Yeah,
yeah.
you can imagine if he would just a little bit more, he would have destroyed it.
But yeah, Dakota with 40. I think Cavallari has 30 now. And Mayfield has 29 or 30, I think also. These things just add up for these guys. It's pretty incredible. So yeah, Daniel kind of giving a shout out there on the Florida Carpet Champs. It's obviously later in the year, but it's never too early. I mean, of all the carpet races we do, it's definitely the one at Beachline there. It's definitely one of the best, if not the best, because they really take a lot of time to. They pretty much take the track out of service for 2 weeks. They completely redo everything, a brand new layout. It's got a new color combination, different color infields every year.
Nice.
This year I see that the color Daniel's looking like he's using as their primary color is a camouflage. I don't know how he's going to pull off camouflage on the.
It's probably like probably different, like,
He's got to be
like
looking.
actual camouflage. It could be like blue and gray. And
Yeah, they got to find some kind of camouflage for the infields. That'd be cool.
yeah.
So yeah, the prep for that is fantastic, and I think it's one of the reasons why people like to go. It's always last year we stayed at an Airbnb right by the I guess it's the Cape Canaveral. We were super close right there.
I'll buy that.
And they launched a rocket at midnight, and I thought it was an earthquake. Seriously, we were in this Airbnb, and they said it was super close to where they were going to launch the rockets from. And I'm thinking, whatever, like, they're going to launch a rocket whenever. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
That thing goes off at midnight. I thought it was an earthquake. Like, that house was shaking so bad. I was like, what in the world?
Jason's like, all right, who brought the girl over here?
What in the world is going on with this? And, I'm like, oh, it must be this rocket that they're talking about.
Yeah, it's NASA over there, SpaceX.
Yeah, it was a SpaceX rocket that went off.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how much it was shaking that house.
Damn. Jason was on the toilet and it's going like this.
The throne.
Rick is saying, when do you think we'll see in Carpet Off-Road Worlds? Is IFMAR even interested?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that they probably have to be, because so many tracks now have carpet. I mean, we had AstroTurf. The 2015 Worlds was AstroTurf at Yatabe. Back when Spencer won that at that time, and that was a big event. And
So what happened to that?
What do you mean?
2015 was the last time you guys had one?
No, the last time it was on like an artificial surface.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so 2015. Yeah, 2015 was on AstroTurf at Yatabe Arena, and
the actual, but so
I
there's
could
a dedicated Carpet Off-Road World, or not?
Yeah, I could see a carpet one happening. Even at like a beach line, I could see it there. So we got Nick DeVito. He's given some vintage updates.
There's some vintage races coming up. First one is in the track, Gettysburg, Maryland, on April 13th. And the vintage off-road Nats is in Adrenaline RC in Westchester, Virginia. Oh, that's your That's
That's Hannah's
Hannah.
parents' track.
yeah, Hannah's parents, and then that's in September 6th through the 8th.
Yeah, that's going to be good. I mean, I would say of all the facilities they've had for the vintage off-road Nats, I think that's probably going to be one of the best ones there at Adrenaline. I think it'll be a great area for the guys pitting. All of them could probably pit in the hobby shop or in the container they have at the track. So I could see that easily being a really good event for them.
John, happy Easter. What's up, John?
What's up, John? Happy Easter.
Bartel is saying, what about the upcoming Worlds Outdoors in Australia?
Yeah, so the 2025 10 scale Worlds is in Australia.
Nice little flight over there.
Yeah, probably about 20 plus hours. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that Worlds in Australia. I think it's going to be, I think people online are absolutely going to love it because I'm sure the video, if you're racing during the day.
Yeah, but wait a minute. How am I going to watch this live? What's the...
It'll be like a whole day difference.
I'm going to be really messed up.
It might be okay because it'll just be a different day.
Different day, probably during the day.
Yeah, it'll just be a different day, but you'll be able to see it probably.
Oh my God. Well, no, yeah, so you'll be ahead of me by a day. Or behind, I don't know. Either way, it'll be on Live RC, right?
Yeah, I guess what I was trying to say is I think people are gonna really enjoy seeing it outdoors, and like we're watching an outdoor race here in the background on the monitor here, but this is still at night, and there's so much more you see during the day with the lighting, and I think what you're gonna see is just people falling in love with seeing the 10 scale cars race outside. I think people are gonna go absolutely ballistic loving
it. Jason, what are your thoughts on the Yokomo 870 re-release?
I've thought several times. I've had one in a shopping cart. I was going to buy it, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to get, I've got way too many cars already, and I didn't buy it. I was like, I don't need to get on the Yokomo train. So I didn't get one, but I've heard a lot of people say that it builds nice. It looks good. I've also heard people say that it doesn't really match the original very well.
Oh.
There's like a lot of things about the chassis shape and outline and stuff that don't really look like the original, but once you put the body on it, to me, it looks good. I mean, I never really had that. That vehicle was kind of before my time. I got into RC in late 1990, or RC racing, I should say. I had a lot RC cars before that, but so I never really had a Yokomo 870, but I know that there is kind of a little bit of a love affair, with that particular car. I really love the way the body looks. I think it's a really cool body. And I've seen a lot of people say they like it. So I've seen people upgrading them. They're buying upgrades, getting machined A-arms. People just, they go crazy. But that's what it's about.
Going crazy?
Well, it's about, it's about being a hobby, and
right.
First thing you do is you do upgrades, right? You look for things to do.
I saw Turn Up Breaker building that clear RC10 or whatever. How's that thing?
Yeah, the clear RC10 went together very nice. I ended up there's a couple ways to do it. The clear plastic is very tight, so when you're putting the screws in, they're almost making a creaking noise when you're.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And so a couple things, like Curtis Husting from Associated, he said to put a little bit of stealth lube on the threads of the screws before you put them in, and it kind of makes it easier to put together. I actually
every turn you're probably like, oh man, this is gonna snap, because you can hear it going.
Oh man, it's making that noise. It's like really loud too. What I actually started doing is I just started threading the holes with, I just started tapping all the holes.
Right.
So I got out my 440 tap and I just started tapping all the holes so I could easily, kind of get the screws in. And it actually took a lot longer to do that. But what I started liking, here's when Dakota was about ready to take over second. He flew off the jump right there. You can see how close he was in contention here. I mean, that was second, and there's Elliott. So Elliott's only like 2 turns in front of these guys. Anyway, what I started liking about threading the holes was it really made them actually look cooler, because you'd put the threaded, tap the hole out.
Yeah, you could see it.
And you could see the threads go into the clear, and it actually made it look nicer doing that than just the screw making the threaded portion.
Yeah.
So I kind of liked it. So it added a lot of time to build it, to kind of pre-thread those holes, but it looked good. I thought it looked really good.
Jason, talk about the vintage Yokomo wheels you 3D printed.
So yeah, I have this. I guess it's the 3D design, or is it GP? 3D GP designs, 89 Masami stealth car. I have one of those, and it has some Yokomo wheels on the back, the way a lot of the drivers used to run them, and which is the old Yokomo, which had a built-in adapter plate. So they would take the Yokomo wheels that were meant for their 4-wheel drive car, they'd put an aluminum adapter in it, and then you could put it on an RC10. So that car that I have, the 89 stealth car replica, has those wheels and adapters in the back. And one day I was kind of looking at it, and I was like, I kind of want to mess with these wheels a little bit. So I kind of designed my own Yokomo style wheel to start off with. And then I started changing it. Like, I kind of had this vision of how it was going to change. And I changed the look of the wheel. And then I made a new adapter, which would go on the RC10. And then I put some of our titanium screws in it, just to kind of make the look pop even more. But I honestly think that they turned out really cool looking. I did a front since then. I don't know if he saw the front one that I posted a photo of, but I actually have a front and rear now that I designed, and I did some 3D printing of them. I did put it on the car. I didn't take a picture of it on the car yet, because I kind of want to finish the car. The cars need some work, but so I may put those on it when it's all said and done. But yeah, I was kind of enjoying working on that wheel and something a little vintage. I was trying to get the wheels that Yokomo had, they were pink in color. And what's weird is, like, when you're trying to match it, there's all these colors that there's versions of colors, and
right.
It's kind of pink, but at the same time, it almost has like a little bit of orange to it. I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head, what color I was thinking at the time, but I started messing with the colors in the computer and mixing these different things. We brought up different colors. I brought up different colors on Google and started looking at the color code and trying to get that on the computer to see if it would look right. And I got one I thought that looked pretty neat.
It was hard to match it.
Yeah, because it's just the way the plastic comes out after. Because I'm sure the intention is to make it pink, but it's never. It's like there's pretty in pink. Like you think of the classic pink color, and then there's sort of versions of pink, right? So, I was having a lot of fun with that little project, and I don't know where it's going to go other than maybe just putting the wheels on that car when I finish, and I don't know what's going to take, what's going to happen, but I have a hard time making all these cars or building these cars and not trying to put something of my own or my own twist on it, because I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like, I don't really want an exact Masami replica. I don't really want an exact.
He wants a Jason Rona edition.
Yeah, I guess kind of like
you're doing it, and you're like, oh, I'd like to do this instead. But
well, and this is kind of like, I guess, a weird way to think about it. And I'm not saying that I'm, as a racer, I'm not a Masami. I'm not, any of these guys as a racer, but I did race with them.
Yeah.
So, and in the same main events at the same time.
They weren't that impressive.
So it's like, I'm not really afraid to have my own version of that car because I did race with them. So
that'd be wild. Rona edition.
But I mean, I'm not saying that, those guys are obviously the world champs. They're the badasses. They're the reason that people want those cars is because they want that edition, right? The Joel Johnson edition, the Masami, the Brian Kinwald, the Cliff Lett, whatever, Mark Pavidis. Those are the cars everybody wants to build. And it's for a reason, because they won something big with it. I never won anything big with any of those cars on Worlds but I did race with those guys. So to some extent, I kind of feel like I look at the car and I'm like, hey, I want to make this kind of how I would have liked to have ran it.
Let's see. Randy's saying he just finished up his Joel Johnson Ultimate Edition this past weekend, Jason.
Yeah, we need to see that.
Reedy powered decals and all. You'd love it, Jason. Oh, God. You can't do that. What's he doing?
What if Joel did run Reedy?
Probably wouldn't have won the Worlds then. Trinity powered, baby. You're with us.
By the way, how did that go?
What? I was 6 numbers off. Jason knows what we're talking about. Didn't go too well. I'm just saying, though. I'm just putting it out there. You're either with me or against me.
You know what? I'm with you if you're going to win that.
Exactly. I'm going to form a superpower. Yeah, you still can't do that, Randy. Can't do that. What else? Where was I here? Jason, when are you going to post your 1989 GP3D RC10 with your printed wheels sometimes?
Yeah, that's kind of the car I'm talking about.
When are you going to post it?
I guess I need to get all the wheels on there. And that's the car I'm kind of talking about, that I probably need to get a body painted. It has a Masami body right now, but I'm probably going to put my own body on it. So, yeah.
Any news on a TC or a T7 coming soon?
Not really. I wish I knew something. I wish it was. Man, that was a wicked crash for Ellie.
Oh, man. It's like I was out there.
That could have been a car breaker right there. Cold temperatures, you go crashing one wheel first. Cars don't like that. Anyway, T7. I don't know. If I had to just guess, maybe the hell year are we in? 24.
24. The new 2024 J Concepts apparel is out, Jason.
I don't know that it would be at the end of this.
On that.
I don't know that it would be an end of this year. My guess, if I just had to throw something out
For
there,
Worlds next year.
early
Even though
2025.
T7's on the world.
I'm thinking maybe early 2025. That's
Early.
my- yeah.
That's not that far off.
Yeah, it's really not, but if I had to guess, that's what I would guess.
Santos is saying he has big plans for his Joel Johnson Ultima. If I keep it, if you keep it, why wouldn't you keep it? Just keep it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that special a car. Just sell
What?
it. Yeah, just sell it.
I think I missed a few here. Are we going? Well, this is going back to Australia. Are we going to see a prep track there? Prep track.
I mean, I think the track will be fairly smooth, but I don't think they put anything on the track as far as I'm aware of. But I think they're talking about using a pin tire, so I think it is going to be. That's obviously dirt. I don't think it's going to have anything sealed or any, glue or anything on it. I think it's going to be traditional. I think it's going to be traditional dirt, but I think it's going to be grooved up. It's going to be. I'm anticipating still pretty good level of traction.
Dude, that should be a lot of fun.
I think it's going to look really good online, and people are going to freak out and be like, "I want to build a 10 scale outdoor track." I think that's what's going to happen.
Damn. Wow.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. It's going to have some influence. Rick asked earlier if we would see a return of the rear motor. I don't think that's going to happen. All the car companies are so committed in one direction with their platform. I don't see that really happening or even being an advantage. They got these cars working so well now. I think even the B7, they've been doing a lot of running in Australia with it, and they actually prefer it. They actually say that the B7 has worked better than the B6.4 on these looser conditions.
Damn.
I don't know that was the intention, but I don't know. Paul was telling me that he's been following a lot of chit chat online and different things he's noticed, and he said that people running on tracks where they're not as good of grip have actually been preferring the B7, which is kind of interesting.
Bashore is saying, I think I'm pronouncing the last name right. My B6 works better than my B4 on real dirt.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I think, there's a lot at play there as we see Elliott comes in for a pit stop here with 6.5 minutes left in the A final. But yeah, there's a lot to it play. I mean, it's been so long since I ran a rear motor, a newer generation rear motor car, I guess you would say. I wouldn't really know how it would fare, but I think that you can get. I mean, we're going back to the World Spencer one at Hootie Arena. That track was pretty loose. I mean, most people would say it was really loose.
Nick DeVito's saying there's a local guy who has a re-release Optima Mid running very well in 13.5 four-wheel drive class against modern buggies.
That's cool. I mean, they should post some video of it.
Yeah.
Double.
I had the Optima Mid SE. How come you can't find that anywhere? Like you search out on eBay and there's hardly. I don't think there's anything.
Hmm.
I was
I
just
haven't
looking.
I haven't looked for that one.
Like what was Santos or DeVito would know. Maybe I asked this on a pod before, but what made the Optima Mid SE an SE?
Special edition.
Yeah, but what was special about it?
I honestly don't know.
No, they'll answer, I'm sure. But like I noticed like there isn't anything out there with it. Probably not a big deal. I guess they recently, well, right here they released the Optima Mid, but what about the SE?
Yeah, I you know what? I'm not really good with the Kyosho cars.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised I know enough about that Joel Johnson car to talk about. I mean, I'm not very up to speed with the Kyosho stuff.
Can you help Corey out here? The top, what's your top 3 10 scale tire and 8 scale tires?
It just depends on the surface. I think it's a little easier in 8 scale. Reflexes, relapse, and maybe a bar tire or like a Cosmos. Those would be like the 3 or 4 tires you probably want to have in the arsenal. 10 scale depends on the surface. If you're running slicks inside with a a sealed track, you only really need slicks. If you're racing outdoors, then you're going to want to have double D's, a bar tire, and then a closely spaced pin tire like the Sprinters. Those are probably the 3 you want if you're racing outside. So carpet right now, fuzz bites, front and rear, or the pin swag front. That's kind of the go-to combination. So you can definitely get it done with 2 or 3 different treads in 8 scale. You can get probably within, very close to your premium results with just having a 2 or 3 treads. Just kind of watching Elliott Boots here. I never really, I've watched this live. I've never watched the video. So just trying to get an idea of how he looked on video. But let's see what else. Yeah, in 10 scale, if you're running slicks, it's easy because you only need slicks.
Oh, wait, what? If you're running slicks, all you need is slicks. There you
All
go.
you need is slicks.
Sprinters are money outdoors.
It is. It's a great tire. It's been a while since I've ran pin tires, but it's really been a while since I raced anything. I haven't raced since November. The race I kind of gave up at there at Beachline.
Gave up?
Yeah, I started racing and I just kind of got over it and I just didn't race anymore.
Wow. That's crazy.
But before that, I had 2 good events in a row. I ran our Turf Nats there in Connecticut, and then I ran the race we talked about earlier, the Iowa in Muscatine.
Yeah.
I ran well there at those 2 events and had a pretty decent time, even though it wasn't perfect. Run a fault going off the track.
Oh, jeez. Whoa. Uh-oh.
Just getting hammered.
Last minute racing, man.
Yeah, just getting hammered. So yeah, had a couple good races there last year, and ran a little at Beachline. Just was not enjoying the way I was driving. Mostly the way I was driving, just really not enjoying it. I left my car at Beachline. It's still sitting on the counter in the hobby shop.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
You just left it there?
Yeah, it's been sitting there since November.
This is epic.
Wow.
Something just must have been bothering you that day.
The whole weekend, I don't know. I was trying to drive and I was trying to work on my stuff a little bit, but
See, Jason doesn't throw his radio or anything. He just leaves his car behind on the counter.
It's like, dude, you guys can have it.
Damn.
I figured it was better than throwing it in the pond that was behind the track.
Just let some kid have it. Call them up and tell them, let some kid have it that wants to race.
Well, now he's going to be like, well, this is the old car. This is a B6.4. Can you give me a B7?
Damn. It's a tough world out there.
Mm-hmm.
John's saying you don't hear much about drag racing anymore. What up with that?
I mean, he's right.
Is that kind of falling off?
I would say it's fallen off a lot.
Wow.
On the amateurish level, for sure, it's almost non-existent. I think on the amateur level, which to me is buying cars that are already in a box, packaged as a drag race car.
Yeah, it's done.
I think events like that they have these large drag racing events for the huge amount of money. I think there's still some of them going on, nowhere near as many as there were a couple of years ago. I think the peak of drag racing, was around 2020, right in the middle of COVID stuff. That thing was just blowing up. I just think that it went too high end. The equipment just became too high end.
Too intimidating for newbies.
And Elliott Boots has just left Tim Lime without a high five here so long. Tim Lime here. He's still not giving him a high five.
That's great.
You got to go back. It's watch when Tim goes he goes in to celebrate with them.
Wait, go back?
Yeah, you got to go back a little bit to where all right, so here's Spencer gives him a hug. You got to go back a little further.
Oof. It's just so hard to scrub on here.
So I think you got to go back. All right, so I'm right here. So there's Ronald Falk. All right, here comes Tim Lime. There's Dakota, gives him a little hug. A little shoulder massage. Here's Tim Lime, comes up here in a second. That's Joe. All right, here comes Tim Lime. He's coming behind him, trying to give him a high five. Not there. Oh, he did. Oh, he got it.
Okay. He did.
Oh, right here. He's giving him another high five.
Tim, what do you want, man? You got a hug.
Yeah, here's another five. Give me a fist bump. Nope.
No fist bump. And then back around again, right?
Yeah, he comes back in here, I think.
All right, there's the handshake on somebody. Wrong folks. And then look. No. It's like Elliot even waved him off. He's like, you already got a hug, bro. What else do you want?
You got one, buddy. That's it.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, so I think the drag racing thing is all but done.
Oh, look at this. The tire game was too much also in drag.
It was a very difficult tire game, and the cars became
It was or wasn't?
It was a big tire game. It just had a lot to it that really drug it down. And I think they're trying to do some more spec style drag racing. And I think I've seen a little bit of it, but man, you just don't see any of it on social media anymore like you did like a couple years ago, how big it was.
Yeah. It was on
live.
I
think it's still being done. It's still being done. There's still the popular bodies, the popular tires, the electronics, but I think it really has fizzled out quite a bit. I mean, we've discontinued almost, I wouldn't say everything, but a lot of things. We're probably down to just a handful of our original things that we had for it, and just keeping it around for people that buy a Traxxas or they buy a Ready to Run Associated or one of these RTRs that just want to throw something on it. We have a few things.
Okay. Any
I was
release
looking
date?
at the Elliott Boots interview here. I was trying to figure out how old he is, and
35.
I think that
I'm right.
he raced for us in the mid 2000s. I don't, and because 2008, Elliott was racing for us in Mugen at the Worlds in Thailand. No, 2010. Sorry, 2010. And 2010 in Thailand, he was racing for us in Mugen. I would say that he had to be around 18 or 19 there at the most. So we're 14 years past that, roughly.
Yeah. It's right around 35, somewhere in there.
Yeah. So
Not far off.
we got the Dirt Nitro crew here. Are they gonna take the camera off of them, or?
And we're just like,
Yeah. What do you do now? I mean, is there a?
Yeah.
They got to go to a different segment here.
Yeah. You guys done? Huh?
I think I gave him a high five here at some point, but
Oh, you got one. You didn't get.
I did. Yeah, I
Okay.
think I did get a high five.
Yeah. That was awesome. You got a release date on the Dirty Danglers, the Gotti edition?
What color should we make those? Well, pink. We were talking about pink earlier.
Oh, there you go.
Mobile color pink. So 32 Gotti. That would be if he was 18.
I thought you said it was 19, somewhere in there. 19, 20? 19?
Yeah, let's call it 18 plus
Well,
14.
33, somewhere in there. 32, 33.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he's got a few more years left.
Yeah, he does.
How old's Mayfield now? Is he the oldest driver? Not the oldest. You know what I mean? Like the one that's running at the level that he's running at.
He is. Yeah, 37.
37. Still going. Notice nobody had any answer on the SE. See that, Jason? It's just quiet
On the what?
on the Optima Mid SE. No answer from Santos. No answer from DeVito. They don't even know what I'm talking about. They're like, Optima Mid SE. Never heard of it.
Oh, they'll know what it is.
So during the break, the only race I really checked in on, I was going to check in on this one, but geez, I think I was out by then. Because you're saying that it was the Motorama race that I was going to go to, but we didn't go to. Kirby wanted us to go.
Yeah, we actually we have a good video of Motorama prepared by. Hold on a second here. I'm gonna pull it up. See, make sure it is up. I don't know if I ever sent it to you because frankly, I just didn't think you'd care.
What do you mean? The video? Motorama? Wasn't it on mod or on live?
No, it's like a prepared 10, 12-minute video about the event.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Okay.
So I'll scroll to it here.
Please, what the heck is this?
It's in 4K. Maybe that you'll like that.
I forgot. Santos doesn't even care about Kyosho. He said he's too busy wrenching on RC10s.
There you go.
Dude, how much wrenching you got to do on RC10s? I mean, Jesus. You got how many do you have? All right. And why do you have that many? All right.
I'm reading Matt's quote here.
Yeah. Matt says he's quoting the movie Stripes. And it says, but now I know why I've always lost women to guys like you. I mean, it's not just the uniform, it's the stories that you tell. So much fun and imagination. Stripes, great movie.
Yeah, I mean, that guy is so good at what he does there.
um. Yeah. So, are you sending me something?
I sent you a video in the chat just so later you can watch our
Okay.
Motorama video that we
And this is something
prepared.
Great Concepts put together.
Well, we had some representatives go there.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I was gonna give you the exact name. Cameron Cullen.
Is this on your J Concepts live page?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Cameron Cullen is the guy that did the video for us. He has his own couple channels on YouTube also, but he mentioned to me that he's like, "Hey, I kind of would like to go to Motorama, make a video." And I got behind, J Concepts got behind the video for him, helped him out, with some expenses and to prepare this video, and he did a great job. I really like the way it came out. I think you're actually really gonna like the video. Like for you, it's gonna be like the perfect length. I don't know if that's something you specialize in, but to me,
the perfect length. Yeah. All right, there it is. I got it pulled up on for you folks watching the live video.
Yeah, what's cool about this video is it really kind of shows you everything that's happening. In like 10 or 12 minutes, it shows you everything that's happening at Motorama.
Oh, the whole event. Okay, not just RC. Yeah.
So it's for you who haven't, who didn't go, and the guy, he's narrating this too, and the guy has an amazing voice for this.
I'll check this out.
The Cameron, who's doing the voiceover, just has a terrific voice for this, and and they did all this footage, and they kind of talk to different racers and give everybody, like a little perspective on the event, and they show some racing, show what happens. I mean, it's really a nice 10, 12 minute wrap up of, the whole event. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, look at that. Looks like little tiny homes there.
I mean, this is just the RC pits.
I was watching this, and the problem I have with it, though, is there's nobody in the stands watching at all.
Yeah, well, it's
like when it was in a small arena, and you had, I think it just needs to. I mean, the track here looks amazing, but it just looks empty as I was watching it, and I don't know. It just bothers me, man.
Well, for one, they have seating in that thing for thousands of people.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like if
and really, your interest level is a couple hundred,
right? But
if you could bring in, what you have to do is you have to tell people at a certain time, hey, 4 p.m. on Saturday is a 10-minute A final of the best drivers from this event, and then you'll get people watching.
Maybe. I just think when they lost a small arena, that kind of sucked because I don't know. I think that track was a little bit better for Motorama. I think it's kind of a shame that it's become an actual like big race, like a pro event. Does that make any sense?
Well, maybe.
Like oh no, there's the robot battles. That's what took over the small arena, I think. The robot wars. Like, how did RC lose that? Like, I don't know. The 10 scale seemed to be more like people walked in and if it was heads up racing, I think the fans would enjoy it more because I remember sitting there and a kid was picking this color car and his mom was picking this color car. And then all of a sudden they're doing IFMAR qualifying and they had no idea what was going on, why that car was going first. And this, you know what I mean?
But I think the other thing,
They walked out.
you can see in the background here, there's people watching.
Okay, I'll give you some credit there. There is.
Look at
Oh,
this.
there's a lot there. Okay. All right. Well, when I was watching it, there was nobody in the stands.
Yeah, I mean,
I should say nobody, whatever the camera could show me, maybe behind the camera or whatever. But
mhm.
all right, there's a good amount of people there. But do they know what's going on? That's the problem. I think it should just be straight up heads up.
Well, but the other thing is, even if you told everybody what was going on, they still wouldn't understand what's happening. I think.
Probably not. You're right. Yep.
I mean, honestly, is everybody that aware of the situation? I think most people are they're just kind of visually focused on what's happening, and I don't
All right,
think
there's
they
a good
really.
person there.
I don't
Right.
think they really care about what the situation is and who's.
You're probably right. Yeah.
It's just a visual thing they're taking in.
All right. I
Um,
hate seeing empty seats though, like that. Like, I guess it was depending on the hour and day or whatever. But
Look at this kid. He's getting a lap.
Jesus. That's Kirby. That's Kirby on his mountain bike.
Yeah,
Well, I stand corrected. I guess they did have a lot of people there watching.
Look at that.
Wow. Oh, wait. They're not watching this. Jesus God. Almost got embarrassed there big time.
Look at that, Gotti. There's a lot of
Yeah,
people.
now this is real racing, like real. This is Losi bikes.
No,
Did they run Losi bikes at Motorama?
I don't know.
You talk about drag racing falling off. I think that really fell off.
I would like to know from somebody that knows the numbers. I have no clue.
I know my neighbor left his out in the yard the one morning.
Really?
Yeah, I told you about it in the chat. Kid down the street. His dad was all mad. His kid gave up on it and left it lay in the yard.
Awesome.
He got tired of running and picking it up. I guess I missed a few chats here. Yeah, this would be a good show. Like, we need to know the top 10 lists of products or names of products that never made it.
I mean, I got the lists of names. Not a lot of necessarily. I mean, there's some products I think we could, key in on that maybe did.
Oh, you mean just take concept products or products overall?
I think he's talking about ours. Yeah, I think that's something that could be done. I'd have to get my list together and everything, but for sure. This and then Rick was asking about the event Visions.
What about Visions? Will there be another one? Do you guys think that helped RC in general for it to be televised? I remember you saying that you didn't think it looked, or when you watched the real cars on TV, it looked better compared to RC.
Yeah, what it was is, you could stand on the driver's stand at Visions, and if you looked to the back, you could see the real cars running up and down the hills doing the whatever they were doing there, the rally, or I forget what they were calling it, but the real cars were going up and down the hills. And
look at that crowd there watching. I stand corrected. I guess there's a lot of people watching this, Jason, at Motorama.
So I'm looking at the real cars on one side of the driver's stand, and then on the other side of the driver's stand, I'm watching the RC cars.
Right.
When I watch the RC cars, I'm like, man, this looks badass. I love this. And then I look over at the real cars running on the other side with my eyes. I'm like, this looks lame. Like, the real cars look slow. They just look like they have no traction at all. They can barely get up these hills, and like they're racing with each other. It looks like it's in slow motion. Well, you look over at the RC track and they're just hauling ass. To me, it was a lot more exciting. But then when you watch it on video, it's the opposite. Like, the real cars on video look better. And then the RC cars on video, I didn't think looked as good. Kind of like what we're watching in the background here. And I have, I have a little bit of a different perspective watching this because I know what it looks like and I know the difficulty of of racing this. So I still think this looks good on video, but when I was there watching Visions with my eyes, I thought the RC looked great in person. And the real cars just didn't look that great to me.
Right. On TV that did though.
But on TV, the way they cover it, it looks great on TV. And
yeah, that's like when I try to show people RC on YouTube or something, they're just not interested.
yeah. So they've had 2 television shows now based off of the Visions event. I think that's what Rick was getting to here. That, one was on, what was the first one on MAV TV? It was on MAV TV the first year, and then this year it's on Speed Sport. That Live RC organized for it to be on this show called Speed Sport, and I haven't watched it, but I mean, I don't see anybody. I mean, I don't know any real numbers, but from my perspective, RC is doing really well right now. But I don't think it has anything to do with that being on television. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it provided anything additionally to what we already have available just by searching the internet, right? Like, I mean, all this stuff is on the internet. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you can be on YouTube all day long. I mean, I think kids are. I am. You can bump into all this stuff if you want. I don't know that Visions being on television added anything, but it certainly doesn't hurt. And I think that's how you have to go about it, is the fact that it wasn't a bad thing that the race is covered on television. And from my understand, there's already a date for Visions this year. It's also in June.
Oh, there you go.
Let me see what the actual
Rick was
date.
saying he didn't hear anything on it.
Hold on. Let me find the
That
date.
track at Motorama looks like I want to be able to make a lap.
It looks great. To
Yeah.
me, Mayfield said he really liked it.
Did it?
March, okay, June. Right now, I have Visions as June 14th through 16th is the Visions event.
There you go.
So, yeah, I think there's a lot of people that have a lot on the, I know we contribute sponsorship to the event. I know that they're contributing a lot to winning racers from a cash perspective. And I think that it would be nice if it did benefit the hobby. But I think it's hard to do it a couple times. I think you got to keep doing it, right? And I think at least Brandon from Live RC seems to be very invested in getting this to happen all the time, along with the guys that control Visions. So I think that everybody's going to continue to go, as long as it's beneficial and the schedule works out. I think people are going to continue to go. And, I've enjoyed being there the last 2 times. I actually really liked going. The watching it live, to me, the way they're doing the races was very exciting. And I actually kind of look forward to it.
This Motorama event's not much different, really. I guess it's just indoors. You got all the
basically what you hear, and one of the things that Adam Drake brought up in this video when he was interviewed is he kind of felt like there needed to be at least some kind of nitro 8-scale race during the weekend. He understands that you can't have a big race in there like we used to because of the fumes.
Yeah, they had to wear gas masks.
But he was like, well, let's at least have one like 12, 15 car race per day or something with the nitro cars just to show people that the nitro ones exist, because people are very, especially in that Motorama scene, they're very, they like the fact that there's nitro power, right?
Right. Yeah. Just have the pros run it. every so often.
Then that's kind of what Adam said in this, is he's like, let's at least have like a 12, 15 car race once a day with the nitro cars, just for the spectators.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it is. And that's a good point he makes.
Without gassing them out, because before you couldn't even see, you wouldn't be able to see the spectators. That's how much fumes were in there.
Yeah, I did twice. I did the nitro event there twice with Ryan, and that's how it was. It was brutal.
I remember they interviewed Pavitas, and he was wearing a gas mask.
Yeah, I mean, I went there 2 years in a row with Ryan, and that's how it was. It was.
Awesome.
I mean, to be completely fair, it wasn't any worse than all the other events we do indoors, to be honest.
Man, it looked bad though. Like,
no, I mean, that's how all the indoor events are for nitro.
Maybe Motorama that year didn't have the ventilation up there working well.
Yeah, I think
something was definitely wrong in one of those races. I forget what year it was, but you could not see anything. It was, I mean, come on, they interviewed Pavitas with the gas mask on. Do you guys do that at the other events you go to?
They have before.
Wow. Jesus. All right. Well, stand corrected again.
No. I mean, I think you are right. Something did go, it wasn't quite.
I think there was a problem with the fans.
Probably.
Because right above the track, there's these big ventilation fans. I mean, they should be working. But apparently they don't want to run nitro anymore. Maybe I don't know if that's Motorama's call, like the facility, or was it who puts on that event? Scotty?
Well, it goes through Motorama. Scotty puts the race together, but Motorama is the one that is responsible for a lot of
it. Maybe it was some kind of health hazard or something.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
Yeah. Santos is saying that the SE had ball diffs, universal towers, roll bars, and maybe a thicker chassis. Okay.
There you go.
So I had the best. So I had the best one, the best version of the Optima Mid. Won my very first weekend out with that thing too. Boom. Defeated the guy that won every single week. He had a Tamiya Ninja. But listen, he was fast for that time.
Okay.
He was fast with it. It sounds crazy to say that.
But he was.
We also think he was cheating a little. Yeah. So then I won that Saturday, it was a Saturday, and then I think he was trying to accuse me of cheating somehow. And I was like, well, this is a belt-driven car. It's way better than that POS that you have. Tamiya Ninja thing? I don't know. For some reason, I think it was Ninja. Kevin's saying that the Horizon Hobby should sell the TLR brand. They are running that into the ground. Is that true, Jason? They're running that into the ground.
It depends who you ask. I don't really know how to answer that, honestly.
I wish they'd sell the Trinity brand.
Well, they just bought that.
Come on, name your price on that.
The problem is you're never going to get Team Low C again. And I think that's what kind of hurts, is the original Team Low C, the Pops Low C, Gil Low C Jr. led division when it was owned by Pops. You're just not going to get that version of it anymore, because they were so focused on the racing side of the business. And of course, they were in a unique time period where they also made money and they were able to race the way that they want to race, right? And now Horizon they're trying to run most of, if not all of these companies based on business and what's best for business and what they should do with the brands to generate the best business. And I think that what they're doing is it's coming off to the racer as just not being interested in the brand anymore. That the racer, the person that supports and have supported TLR throughout the years, it's to them, they're seeing it as they don't care about this. They're letting it go. They're having a lot of time. There's a lot of time period going by before they're changing cars, doing updates. They're running into multiple production issues. They're having stock status problems. It just doesn't seem to be a priority to them.
Wow.
From the racer's perspective, it doesn't look like a priority to them. And it probably isn't because they have so many brands. They have a very successful lineup of brands. And I don't know what we're going to see. I think it's a mistake if they don't treat it a little more seriously, because they have a lot of customers and fans that really want them to do it right. And the customers and the fans of the brand just feel abandoned. And when you look at the comments online, when they post something, the comments are horrendous.
Yeah.
People are absolutely destroying and trashing them online. I mean, you can disable comments on a post, right? Can you make a post on? I don't know why they don't disable the comments.
Right. They should at this point.
They're horrible. People are absolutely brutal. And
who's running the show up there? I mean, it's big corporate, but I mean, is it like a WCW thing back in the day when AOL took over and all of a sudden these big head honchos had no idea about wrestling, so everything fell? I mean, do you have guys in there that don't know much about RC racing, like cars wise? But
I think they know a lot about the business
of RC car racing competitively.
They know about the RC business, and that's
RC business, but not the RC car competitive racing cars.
I think they know about RC cars and the business,
but not what it means to an RC racer.
But the racing part, I believe they don't care that there's a racing part of it. And I don't want to say that as in a negative way. What they care about is RC being sold, right? RC cars being sold and numbers and people getting into the hobby. You can see they're there at Motorama. In our video, all their stuff shows up all the time. Horizon Hobbies booth. They're trying to get people into the hobby of RC, but they don't necessarily care if they're getting involved in racing because they have so many brands, right?
Right.
So for them, if they get you in any of an RC car, it's a win for them. And I think the mistake that they're making is not just dedicating more to that side of the brand, because it may not look the greatest on paper, but I think the perception out there is hurting them overall. And I think it would be in their best interest to approach it better so that it would improve their image dramatically, I think. So, and like Alex is saying here, they posted a shirt online and they didn't understand that people were just going to trash them.
Wait, this was the Low C shirt?
They just posted a new shirt for commemorating the worlds that they won. Tater won the worlds for them with the TLR.
Oh, I didn't see this.
People just trashed him, man. Like in the comments, it was so brutal.
Wow.
Because
what did they do wrong? I mean, what was?
Well, a few months ago, this has happened in between. Is they made an announcement that said that, hey, there's a problem with there's a parts shortage for all their vehicles right now, the TLR cars. So people are really upset about this parts shortage. And on top of that, the delay before they were available was tremendous. I mean, Alex would know more. He can post in here. He's a dealer. But they posted online and they kept the comments open about this open letter of, hey, we're out of parts right now, and it's going to be a while before we can get the factories to get these parts back in service and then get them shipped to us. And there's a big explanation, right, of why it was going to take time. And it was a nice explanation, but it's not what people want to hear. And the comments were open and they just trashed everything about it. They just blame them on everything. And it's not all of it's fair. So yeah, I just I don't think that they can sell the brand. I don't think anybody out there has the ability to do what Horizon can do with it. I think what they need to do is just accept that if you're going to be involved in a racing brand, it costs money. And sometimes it doesn't come at a huge profit like some of these other brands that you have that are major profit items, right? So if you're going to be involved in this racing side of things, you have to accept it for what it is. And it can be good to you, but you can't abandon it and you can't treat it, like it doesn't matter. And I think that's where the customers got mad at them. But I think they can only be in charge of their destiny. I think if they decide to take it seriously, make everything back in stock, have a new two-wheel buggy in the works, maybe get a truck version back out there for people that like the brand, I think that they can kind of recapture the market that they maybe once were really, really good in. And it's not that the performance of the product is not good. It's the performance of the product is good. People are complaining that they just can't, they haven't updated it. And then this parts issue. And then they kind of have this commemorative t-shirt, which is, the Worlds was in September. So it's October, November, December, January, February, March. So it's been 6 months since they won the Worlds and they came out with a t-shirt. And everyone is just killing them online because they're like, you guys have no parts. You haven't updated your vehicles. Your t-shirt is 6 months late. You know what I mean? Like that's really the kind of the synopsis of the whole thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, Rick's saying they have Dakota right now, and he's in his prime. If he wins a Worlds and TLR is still having issues and can't sell cars, they're going to implode.
Well, that's certainly a situation where you have, for the past several years, they've had the hottest driver in America, which is Dakota. He was the hottest driver, at the tail end of COVID, going into COVID and out. He's the hottest guy racing. He was winning everything. He won 7 Roar Nationals in 1 year. A few years ago, he won like 4 or 5 last year. Just a phenomenal racer. The problem is they don't have the vehicles really to support the type of winning he was doing. If they would have these updated vehicles along with his racing, the brand would still feel good. It would have that feel good story to it. Whereas right now, I think the product is still working well and performing well, can perform up to a high level, but with the parts support not being good, and then the updates not coming for the vehicles, they're not really getting out of these relationships what they really could get out of the relationships with the racers. So
Yeah, they're feeling abandoned.
So yeah, it's kind of hurt the business, because we depend on brands like Associated and TLR and all these to have.
Yeah, you guys.
Everybody depends on these car companies to have great releases, influence racers to, try the different brands, try the different cars. They kind of carry the divisions. And I think that it's good for the business if they are involved and they're doing well with it and releasing vehicles on a timely basis, because it depends on that. They're number 2, right? Like, it's fair to say that Associated is the number 1 10 scale buggy out there that sells. But if TLR has anything new, they're easily number 2, right? Their only question is, can they make it better and good enough to make a run at a number 1 10 scale buggy? Number 2 is theirs. They just have to want it, right? Like,
yeah.
And then, and you know what? A lot of this has to do with the dirt bike. The dirt bike was a big project that got put on their top level product developers. The Frank Roots, everyone we've talked to before on the podcast, who they were kind of chained down to the dirt bike for many, many years, but it caused a chain reaction in the product line. And I think that hurt. But I think they can come back and maybe make something that's on target and kind of help the business. But they're not making any friends online with their customers.
That Lofi bike project was probably a corporate high up decision and force these guys to work on it, don't you think?
Well, everything you get is kind of a corporate decision in a sense. I mean, like nobody just has the freewheeling ability to make whatever they want.
Right. But I mean, like, I think it was like, oh man, I bet you those guys like Frank and Hodge and them were probably just like, oh man, we want to work on this. Like, we needed to work on this and that. And here we got this big project. How long did it take them to do that project? They said it was years, right?
I thought it was 5 years.
Jeez.
But I think they're saying 3.5, but I thought it was 5.
I mean, you're taking your top guys away from other projects, I think. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, there's no question.
They're really banking on this bike to really pull them out of some things.
Yeah, well, we talked about it on several shows. I was saying this is something, the type of effort they put in. They want to sell hundreds of thousands of these, not thousands.
Yeah, I think we kind of did math on it and what they need, what they want to do, and I don't know if they hit that goal or not, but
yeah, I think in the RC business with race cars and different things, you can sell, and just say for instance Associated makes a new 2-wheel, you can sell thousands, right? Thousands of cars. But the number out there, that you hear from the Traxxas's and everybody else's, when they have something successful, no, granted, this isn't just 1 year, but it's hundreds of thousands, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So if you have a popular race car, you're selling thousands. If you have a popular entry level, something that just hits at the right time, you can potentially sell hundreds of thousands. That's what they're going for. Horizon and these large companies, they're not satisfied with a couple thousand, right? They're like, they're swinging, right?
Right. Yeah.
You're swinging for the fences.
Swinging for the fences.
You're swinging for the fences when you're these companies. You're not just going, man, I hope we can put, thousands of hours in a new design. We could sell 1,000 units.
Yeah.
They're like, no. They're like, that would be a waste of money to them. It's not a waste of money to some, but it would be a waste of money. Like if Traxxas, if they're sitting there working and grinding away on something, long project, and then they sell 1,500 of them, they're like, we're done.
What do we do here?
We're done.
Exactly.
It's like we already printed 100,000 kit boxes.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, Alex mentioned here Sprint car. That would be a perfect vehicle for any of these racing companies. That's really big right now. Any kind of dirt oval. But you know what? It's not up to these individual guys, the Frank Roots, the Todd Hodge.
That's what I'm saying. It's
It's
somebody
not
else too.
But I think over time, and I don't talk to these guys all the time. I don't know this for a fact, but the longer I think you work at these companies, the more you do realize that it's better for them if the vehicle is successful too. So they start to have when you work long enough, you're thinking, I want to swing for the fences too. If the company succeeds with this, that's better for them. If that dirt bike did do really well, I don't really know how it is doing, but if it did that well, it's better for them. Sure, they could make a new TLR vehicle. It wins the worlds. Everybody's happy because it's a feel-good moment. But nothing feels better in their pocket than a high sales item, right?
Yeah.
And I think the longer you work in the business, in the industry, that's kind of what becomes a little, I don't know what the right word is, indoctrinated, but that becomes a goal. You want to have great selling items because that determines how long you're going to be around.
Yeah, exactly. Damn. Well,
I think that, and I don't know anything. I just go by what I see. And I think that they've realized that they need to make something right on that end. They need to kind of, maybe set the priority a little higher, and kind of set that brand straight again. And I hope it does. I hope it happens because it'll be better for everybody if they do.
You know who they need to step in, don't you?
I don't.
Oh, jeez. Come on. We'll let that. Forget about it. You can't eat that. Oh, well, here we go. Love the J Concepts logo that had the skull and crossbones and integrated into the logo. Reminds me of Jolly Roger's flag.
I don't know. He's got to send that to us. He's got to send us the J Concepts one that he likes
with the skull and the bone, or the skull and the. You remember what this? Because I felt weird wearing that because I'm like this, I'm not like this big muscle guy or anything. I'm walking around with this J Concept shirts around town with a skull on it. Like, asking for a fight. That's why I was glad with the apparel this year. We kind of went away from that and put an RC car on there.
Put an angel on there.
It's crazy. So, yeah, well, Matt loves it, though. So there you go. He wants you to bring that back. The skull and crossbones, and that's what he wants. Let's see. Well, anyway, yeah, I was talking about myself, Jason. Put me on the board of directors at Horizon. Give me 5 years, or give me 3 years, and we'll turn it around, Jason. Board of directors. The boys on the board. They're not gonna
That's
be
right.
Yeah. There you go.
The boys on the board.
We're not going to be happy with this one.
I love it.
Yeah. So, and then what do they plan on doing with Trinity then?
Whew. I don't think we can launch into a
Put me in
discussion on that one. That'll be
Put me in
another
charge
hour.
of the Trinity department, but I need free reign. I can't have any suits come down on me.
You need 100% control.
I need 100% control. Turn it around in 3 years.
You know what they
And
said
if I
in the,
don't turn it around, just let me go, and that's it. I would help the Trinity brand out for 3 years. No pay.
wow, there you go.
There you go. And at the end of 3 years, if it's successful, give me back the money. Then whatever, we'll work out a deal.
They're like, here's the 12,000 that we owe you.
No, I'll have an agent on that. Kevin says, how about some fuzz bites in a harder compound?
We have tried it. We've tested
It did not
them.
work.
We have tested them on the harder side. We have tested them on the softer side. And
Yeah.
we really didn't get making them harder. They didn't wear better.
I'm
know,
reading some of the comments.
I can see it in the corner of my eye, and I'm already laughing.
So you tried them and you didn't like them.
We went harder, and it did not actually perform better or wear better.
There you
So
go.
that's kind of why we're staying where we're staying. But I understand what he's saying. I think what would work is a harder tread pattern. If we made the pattern itself feel harder, which you can do with the pins and the carcass, that could have a very similar effect, but still have the same rubber compound.
Matt's saying my first act at on the board of directors would be to have a Joel Johnson sub brand. Of course. I thought Joel would have been perfect to buy Trinity. It's sad. I think about it randomly. I'm like, oh man, it's a bummer, man. Especially now, not what I know about what goes on up there. I'm like, what are they going to do with it? They're just going to all that hard work those guys did in the 90s and stuff. Alex is saying you should come out with a bedazzled line of shirts and hoodies like those horrible Affliction MMA line of clothes. Man, I got to check that out. Fights at every bar night after the races. There you go. If the skull shirt ain't going to get you a bar fight, the bedazzled J Concepts hoodie would.
Yeah, what it reminds me of is the other day, the original Roadhouse movie came on, and when the guy asked him to come and, be the cooler at his bar,
Right.
called the Double Deuce, he said, 5,000 up front, 500 a night cash, my show. That's how he approached it. I think that's probably a good answer for everything.
Yeah, well, if it ain't about finding the right balance, I guess that's another good answer.
Yeah, you just, if you're in any conversation and somebody's asking you about something, you can just say 5,000 up front, 500 a night, my show. No matter what.
Maybe I should say that to Horizon.
Yeah, that's your Trinity deal. That's why I brought this up. That would be
yeah, I could do that. Yeah. Matt's saying he loves Alex's idea. The bedazzled rear pockets of men jeans are always awesome. Wow. Jason, you don't have any of those jeans, do you?
I've had some that have like patterns, but I never went with the bedazzled. But I have
yeah.
I don't really know what you call it, but they're a little nicer, but with some pattern, but there's not bedazzled.
Yeah.
Nothing shiny.
Yeah. Yeah, the skull on the shirt though, that always seemed out of place wearing that. So I'm glad I like this year's apparel.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. There we go. I think I scrolled through all these.
I mean, when
Matt Adams wants to know, is anyone coming to the LCRC Oval race? When is that? I know there are opening races coming up here.
Yeah, I don't think we have anyone going to their oval race, but we will. We'll probably have someone at the Mugen Challenge. That's usually the one we try to hit.
Now, what's the one coming up in April?
I think it's just the season opener.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt's saying in August is the big one.
Yeah. We got I don't have any dunks, but I got just the Air Jordan mids and talls, mids and highs. That's what I got. I got 3 boxes of them in the room here with me, actually.
Damn. All right, so is there anything else we're missing from November on, Jason?
Well, a lot, but
Yeah. Well,
I'm gonna go finish watching Roadhouse. That's what I'm gonna
so
do.
are you watching the new one? Because somebody said the new one's even better.
I mean, come on, how can you beat the first one though?
I don't. That's what I said. I don't know.
I mean, number one, the first one has Bigfoot in it.
So,
Yeah, look-
right then and there, you can't. They already lost.
Yeah, the first one has Bigfoot in it.
Okay.
So how can you? I mean, you can't beat
How can you
that.
top that, right?
Right, you can't.
You can't.
And then number 2, Patrick Swayze.
They were saying Conor McGregor in this one destroyed Swayze. From what I was reading.
What's that now?
I guess Conor McGregor's in the new one.
Mm-hmm. He seems like would be.
What somebody told me. They said it was better than the first one. And,
I mean, we started watching it. That's before the podcast. So that's
okay. All right. Well, we'll let
when
you
we
go back.
end, we're gonna go finish watching it.
What happened at the Snowbirds that made Roar repost their rules about physical confrontation? Wow, I didn't see anything about this, man. You want to touch on that real quick before we leave?
I don't know what it was. I do see. I know the post he's talking about. I know exactly the post he's talking about, but I do not know what happened.
Wow.
The worst part, it was probably in a class that only had like 4 or 5 entries. That's usually the problem there.
Matt wants you to have Jason Santos be a vintage race representative at the upcoming vintage races. Loved him representing J Concepts on the vintage RC10.
He is my go-to guy for everything vintage. We talk via text probably every day.
There you go.
We talk about different vintage stuff. I'll shoot him photos. He sends me ones back. We chit chat. We talk about the different events, and that's been fun. Having him as a go-to guy in the vintage chat world, I guess. It's been nice. Knows a ton about RC in general, vintage cars. He's dug deep on many different builds, and he's built builds for us, stuff that we featured in the garage and articles and photos. And so, yeah, it's definitely a good resource.
I thought he would like all vintage cars, but he's just into RC10s. He doesn't like anything Kyosho. I think it's pretty rude. Especially not liking the RC or Joel Johnson edition.
Show.
So I guess we're gonna have to find out what happened at the Snowbirds. I did watch some of that on when it was going on. So I didn't hear anything though. Nobody messaged me about it. I guess somebody got in a fight. Interesting. Maybe you should start going to that race, Jason. Not gonna happen. It's 24/7 all day.
It doesn't appeal to me.
All right. So this is the 260 edition. Jason has YouTube video car videos. Okay, cool. Well, we're gonna have to cut off these comments. Jason C has YouTube vintage car videos of his builds, and they're awesome. Yeah, guys, I'm just busting them for not liking Kyosho. So, thanks for the info on the SE, guys. Appreciate that. Like I said, you go on eBay, you can't find anything about it. Very rare car. I guess I should go find it, and it's packed up somewhere. Right?
Yeah.
All right.
We got coming up, actually, speaking of 24 hours, the PMB event is coming up this week. Psycho Nitro Blast.
What? Wow.
So Psycho Nitro Blast is coming up this week.
So you're going to that?
I'm going to go on Wednesday with Paul.
Okay.
We drive up to that event. So
Yeah, you'll probably get sick after that one. You get the Psycho Nitro Blast flu.
don't even remind me. I'm 3 for 3 this year so far.
You're 3 for 3 again.
3 for 3.
Wow. You need to boost that immune system there, buddy.
No kidding.
Wow. Well, best of luck at that. Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
Matt said he loved this episode. He wants to keep it regular, so we'll do our best. Yeah, we were in a winter break there. There was a lot of things going on.
Call of Duty.
No, that's not what it was. And I get messages about people want us to do the car action stuff. They love that. So
Yeah, it is good.
go back and visit the old episode.
And our Commando episode.
When you responded, I forgot all about that you mentioned of doing a Commando episode.
Yeah.
We never did it. That's like 5 years ago, dude.
I know, but it's still a terrific movie. We got to do it. A watch along.
All right. Well, you let me know when you have time. That's all, bro.
The Commando watch along.
Yeah. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us, and again, a happy Easter. Yeah, I sent you
Send me the airplane.
Yeah.
The airplane.
Don't bother my phone. He's dead tired. And don't forget to go over to jconcepts.net and buy all that apparel. The new apparel's out. I got the hat. I got the shirt. I got the hoodie, I believe you sent me. I got my Hobby Haven shirt on today that John Bolton sent me. Look at
Oh,
that.
that's cool.
Yeah, Hobby Haven, one of my favorite tracks that I've never been to. I would love to go to it. Sure. But yeah, so it was fun. And
and a Predator.
and a Predator episode. Get to the chopper. I mean,
Before,
we could do a watch along. Obviously, we can't show the movie, but we could do the watch along and sit there and comment on it as it's playing.
could we just could
You
we
can't
just
play it.
What we could buy it on YouTube and play it in the background, right?
I can't play it like for everybody to watch. No, it would get copyrighted. Get struck down, but you could still do a watch along, and then if people want to, they could watch the movie at home while we're talking in the background. There's a lot of wrestling. There's a few wrestling podcasts that do that. They'll go back and review the old matches. So what you do is you go to Peacock, for example, click on the episode, and then listen to these guys talk about what's going on. You know, and they're making fun of some stuff, and while you're watching it, it's pretty cool. So I hate to burst your bubble there, Jason. I hope you didn't think we were going to actually play the movie Commando on the air and watch it. You can't do that. We're
Gonna put you in a corner here on your. What's your WrestleMania picks?
Oh, we're going to go right to that now? Man, that I don't know what's going to go on with that whole bloodline thing, to be honest with you. So then I'm not going to go down the list of the cards. So I'm not allowed to give my opinion on that, Jason.
Why?
But you've been
shareholders have inside information or what?
I just don't know what I thought we were supposed to go to that, Jason.
We were.
Yeah. But I really don't know where they're going to go with it. As far as The Rock and Cody and Roman Reigns, the bloodline. I know you have your opinions on it, and we've talked about it in the chat, but I really don't know which way they're going. I'm so confused now. My head's spinning.
Which I guess is the idea, right?
Which is the whole idea, man. The whole idea. So, and that's next weekend. So I don't know if we're going to get a pod in before then or after. No, you're going to Psycho, so we'll see you after that. And then we'll have the results. So, all right, go check out Roadhouse and let us know how you like that on the next episode.
All right, thanks.
We'll see after the PMB.
Okay, we'll see.
All right, guys. Catch you later.